Yo guys, welcome back to another Lost Ark video. Today we're going to be showing you the best two engravings for the Sorceress class, followed by a couple other ones that are possible that you guys could be using if you can unlock them. So to start, we're going to have Igniter and Reflux. These are both Sorceress specific. As you guys can see right here in your engravings, you can see all the other ones that everyone has available. And then you'll have your class specific ones. So we have Igniter and Reflux. Basically with Igniter, it's going to focus on dealing huge burst damage with a lot of cooldown reduction. So we're going to be stacking a lot of swiftness and crit. Those are going to be the two main stats that we're going with. Obviously, swiftness reduces the cooldown time on your abilities. Crit's going to make it crit more often, right? Pretty easy to understand. This is going to be a lot harder to build, basically because you'll need a lot higher gear level to have the Igniter build, just because of the stats that you'll need and that are required for this build. And the way Igniter works is that whenever Magic Amp is triggered, your normal skill cooldowns are reduced by 50%. And also you get a 10% crit buff and 20% crit damage at level 1. And then at level 3 you get 25% crit and 50% increased damage, which is a huge damage buff for your class. Now the second build we're going to be going over is Reflux. And basically how Reflux works compared to Igniter, it has way less burst involved, but it's way more constant DPS that's going out in your character. As well as when you do have Reflux equipped, you cannot use your Z ability, which is your Arcane Rupture, so we're not going to be worrying about Arcane Rupture, whereas on Igniter, that's what we're going to be using. So the only one available to you will be Blink. But basically, like I said, this is going to provide a lot more consistent DPS. It's going to be a lot better build for less geared characters, so when you're first starting off at level 50 or even while you're leveling, this is going to be the one that you're going to want to mainly focus on and go with until you get a higher gear score. And the way Reflux works is that it disables your Arcane Rupture, which is your Z ability, but also the damage of skills, except for your Awakening and your movement skills, is increased by 8% at level 1 and cooldown reduction by 3%. And then whenever it's level 3, you get a 16% damage increase and minus cooldowns by 10%. So it's going to be, like I said, for more consistent and reliable damage. Now the next one we're going to follow up with is Hitmaster. Basically how Hitmaster works is that the damage of the attacks other than your back attack and frontal attack is in a 3% damage increase. And this does not apply to your Awakening skill, which is what you get whenever you hit level 50 and do the quest line. That's like your special ability. So it's going to basically stack all the way up to level 3, which will eventually do plus 16% damage, which is a huge damage increase for your abilities. Now, the last one we're going to be going over is All Out Attack, which is actually a very good damage increase, which is holding and casting skill speed plus 5% and buffs the damage on it. So eventually it'll be 20% cast speed and holding speed, as well as 20% damage increase. So a level 3 with that is huge. That is a giant damage increase. And this is really good for abilities like your Meteor, which is a casted ability, your Punishing Strike, anything where you have to cast or hold, for example, like Frost skill right here, your Frost Call. Stuff like that is going to have a huge damage increase on it. So to sum it up, guys, basically we're going to be going with Reflux until we get to the point where we feel comfortable enough to use Igniter with more stats, more gear. The better gear you're going to have, the better damage you're going to do, and it's going to be huge burst damage. And don't forget about those other 3 engravings that we mentioned, which was All Out Attack, Hitmaster, and Precise Dagger. Remember, when you're leveling up and getting better gear, you can get random engraving effects on your gear. For example, right here, I have a +2 node for All Out Attack just on my neck piece, remember? So just don't forget about those and make sure whenever you're getting different pieces of gear, try to get those engravings on them. That way they can keep boosting your character, you do more damage, and you will be happy. So yeah, guys, make sure you like the video. Leave me a comment if you have any questions or concerns, and I'll see you guys in the next Lost Ark video.